Hello student, today we will start the new module separation and processing of solid waste. So, we are into now the fifth functional element out of total 6 functional element. So, here in this module we will talk about processing. So, I will take 2 classes onto the processing, and this processing mostly focused onto the recycling. Because I think we have already discussed in the previous lecture, we already collected the waste in the two part, one is the wet waste and other is the dry waste. So, first I think we will talk about dry waste, but the dry waste also in the mixed way. We did not segregate it again in the component wise. I think I propose that if in the small quantities there could be possible at community level, otherwise it has to go to the centralized recycling facility or processing facility. So, once we finish the recycling one, because the similar dry waste also will be utilized for the treatment process also, and this especially the chemical treatment process, where we will talk about combustion or incineration about that particular dry waste. Okay. And followed by in the in the transformation we will talk about the treatment of wet waste, composting, vermicomposting or anaerodization methods we will discuss into that. So, first we will focus on to the processing. Okay. So, this lecture is majorly onto the unit operation for component separation. So, you see that in the previous lectures many times I talked about manage the waste at home. So, say no to the single bin. I think in the under Swachh Bharat mission also dry waste and wet waste asked to get segregated at household level. So, these are the two, and it was also special focus was given under Swachh Bharat mission also, because segregation found to be very important, and without that very difficult to treat. So, mixed waste cannot be treated. Okay. And the waste segregated at biological, dry and wet waste, and biological waste will go to the biological treatment process like composting or anaerodization process, and dry waste, that non biodegradable waste will go for further treatment, maybe for the recycling process or combustion process or chemical treatment process. So, as I proposed in the previous class also, asked to segregate it the waste at the household level in the wet waste and dry waste. Okay. And the wet waste will use for the composting process, and now the dry waste, because the entire wet waste will go for the treatment process. You need not to get segregation, no need of any segregation from the wet waste, whether is a cooked waste or is a uncooked waste, that all kind of that waste could be possible for biological treatment process. But problem with the dry waste, now dry waste also mix of different components. So, like you recall that in one of the lecture I talked about the dry waste could be a cardboard or paperboard, glass, plastic, there are different kind of plastic. Okay. Which I think in the next class I will talk about different kind of plastics and their recycling process also. The paper and other different kind of dry waste. So, now has to be this problem is that suppose these all the components are together, we can't go for the recycling process, because for every recycling process again the segregation, I think we can say the segregations is required, because when you go for glass, so the different recycling process, when you go for metal different recycling process, like paper, plastic, different recycling process is available, but mixed waste can't be possible to get recycle. So, like waste separation, I had talked about source of segregation, source of generation at household level or community level. If the quantity is less, then could be possible. So, the objective of waste separation, as I in the previous class also told, to modify the physical characteristic, remove specific component and also prepare to subsequent uses. For that purpose you need segregation or separation, even this separation from the dry waste itself. Okay, so, at source of generation manually will do the segregation, because the quantity is very low. Suppose in the household level, suppose local authority will ask to segregate plastic from the dry waste. So, manually will be get separated from that, and suppose the local authorities is proposed that to get segregated like glass and metal, which can't be go for combustion process also. These both components will get segregated at household level. If suppose household level is not possible, so we can go to the community level, maybe in the one particular apartment this segregation facility could be possible. Maybe is not only one apartment, but maybe 3-4 nearby apartment also segregation facility could be possible, but this segregation will be manual. We do not require the mechanical facility for that. But once I think this waste, this entire mixed dry waste will come to the MRF or material recovery facility or recycling facility, then will be required mechanical. So, manual could be possible is again the quantity is less, like similarly showing that here, if the quantity is low, then could be possible manually by putting number of manpowers could be possible, and again is depend upon the objective. Suppose here the objective is to only at MRF station, the objective is only to segregate the plastic, so is possible, or paper wise segregation, or like metal and glass. So, based on that manually it could be possible, but if you are saying that entire these 10 to 12 or 15 kind of component need to be segregated manually is very difficult if the quantity is large. So, if the quantity is large, so we should go for mechanical when generation amount is high. So, for that we will require different kind of unit operation and unit operation. So, the idea of this unit operation not only the segregation of components from the mixed dry waste, but also required to prepare the same material for the subsequent uses, and also required proper transportation of that particular material. So, could be possible that in the MRF locality only the unit operations will be available, and after that the entire waste will go to the another location, specific component will go to the another recycling facility. So, for transportation also that particular material will be required, and for storage facility also you need further treatment of that particular component. So, which we are going to talk about different unit operation in this class. So, there are 5 different kind of unit operation normally required for segregation at MRF station in the mechanical way. So, first is the size reduction. This is one of the very important unit operation. This process of mechanical reduction of size of collected material to obtain the uniform final product. And why we need the uniform final product? Because to reduce the storage and shipping cost, because for shipping also if the uniform product will be there. So, the storage and shipping cost can be possible to reduce. So, but need to understand that it is not the volume reduction process. See, size reduction, just see that size reduction is not volume reduction. By like one example I gave, here the shaded paper occupy more space than the parent stock. See, once you shaded or once you reduce the size of the paper, it will be required more volume rather than the parent or the normal paper. Okay. There are different kind of methods used for the size reduction. First is the shredders, usually involved metal part. revolving against one other, which includes first is the hammer mill. So, this is one of the diagram of the hammer mill. So, these are the hammers, these hammers, these are the hammers which will shed the materials. This is the actual photograph. So, you see here these are the hammers, by that it is getting shed. This is another equipment or method, that is flare mill hammer. So, from that also is possible to get shed the material. Okay. These are the flails. These are different kind of shading facility here. Now, here shear shredder, this is another type of shading by the shearing of the material. So, here the waste is loaded from the top and is the shaded material. So, some other type of size reduction operations. This is one glass crusher. So, this is a well known, you can find lot of YouTubes also of this kind of shader. So, very hard crushers or shaders. This is another one. This is a glass cutter in one of the country. This is in Australia. This is a mobile glass crusher. So, this crusher can be you can take it to any other locations easily. So, it is called as a mobile glass crusher. And this is a special one, wood chipper. This is an industrial wood chipper. So, directly wood is getting shed into the small size. So, where wood grinder chipper such as local tree cutter for the reduction of the branches to chips and tub grinder. Fine material can be used for raw material for composting, because composting required for the to maintain the moisture content required the dry matter, and larger pieces as fuel. Now, next unit operation is a screen or screening, and this process of screening is a separation of mixture of the material of different sizes into two or more size fraction by means of screen surfaces. So, what is the objective of the screening? To remove the oversized undersized material, okay, so that the final product will get the uniform, and separation into light or heavy fraction. So, in the entire dry waste, mixed dry waste, what could be the light material like paper, plastic, rubber, cloths could be a very light material, and heavy materials like leather, glass, metal will be the heavy material, and separation is required for the both the material. And especially if you are able to segregate glass and metal from the other material, dry material is required. Why? Because both are not the combustible material. So, if you are planning for this waste will required as in fuel. So, because of that we need to segregate glass and metal from the mixed dry waste. So, there are different kind of screening devices. This is the vibrating screen. So, you can see here there are different size. So, that different fractions different size fractions we can get it from the screen. This is another rotary screen. Here also you can see the different size. This is the smaller one, somewhat bigger and bigger one, and this is the large particle you will get it. This is the disc screen. So, by using different kind of screen we can screen the entire material by different kind of size material we can separate here. Now, next is the density separation. This method is specially used for the separation from the light material to the to heavy material. A process of separation of light material such as paper and plastic from heavy material such as metal based on weight difference in the air stream. So, in the solid fraction the light fraction is typically organic and while the heavy fraction is typically inorganic. Suppose the entire biological waste also will come into this kind of mix or this kind of unit operation, this also will, because that will be a light material, could be also get separated from that. It is used to separate specially the plastic from the commingled situation or mix material. So, this is the one line diagram, you can see that. So, here MSW is getting feeded here and here the air stream in the upper way. So, light material will come out from this fraction and the heavy material will be in the bottom fraction and both material will get separated. So, this is one photograph also, you can see that. So, he is getting feeded. Okay. Now, magnetic separation. This method is specially used to separate the ferrous metals from the waste stream utilizing magnetic principle. So, it could separate the tin cans from the aluminum in the commingled situation. So, this is one of the line diagram, you can see that by having the magnet, the non-ferrous metal and ferrous metal will be get separated. So, this is one of the photograph, you can see here magnetic separator. This is overbelt magnetic separator, where glass is getting separated. Now, next is the densification or compaction. This will be a last process of the unit operation, a process which increase the density of any material, so that it can be stored and transported more cheaply as means of preparing densified refuse derived fuel. This refuse derived fuel we will have discussion onto that in the next lecture. We call it as RDF or facility, F as in facility, because once you go for as in fuel process also, now waste should be a compacted one, so that the transportation also will be easy, storage also will be easy. It includes the by using the different balers like this one is a one of the compactor. This is the glass crusher. From that also we can get proper compaction of the entire material. This is another can crusher. Now, under this unit operations will be required different facilities for waste handling, moving and storage of mixed dry waste. So, will be required different kind of conveyor belts. This conveyor belts handling for transport the waste from one location to another location inside the unit operation facilities. So, this is very important, because manually segregation also transportation also is very difficult. This all unit operation will be together. So, the transportation of the waste from the one unit to the another unit with the help of conveyor belts is more beneficial. This is the belt conveyor used in the recycling center. So, next is the movable equipments like front end loader and forklifts. These kind of equipments will be always required. So, this is a forklifter. Okay. This is specially is required for the storage of the material. Next is the weighing facility. So, obviously, in the unit operation weighing facility should be required. because when the waste is entering to the facility and when the treated material will go out from the facilities need to be weighted properly. Now, next is the storage facility. Yeah. So, we will require proper storage of the waste, whether is a treated or untreated, proper storage facility is required of mixed dry waste. You can see here is one of the facility in USA, Washington, storage facility of dry matter. So, once the all components will be get segregated, need to be properly stored. So, here I am showing one small video, 5-minute video, and by that we can see that how this unit operation will work together. So, this video is from Poland and it is also available in YouTube, you can see. So, this is in Europe, Poland, Warsaw. So, here MSW from Warsaw city is coming, is a mixed dry waste. So, you are seeing here there is no biological material. First is going to the waste reception area. So, these kind of equipments will be required. So, this is the shredder, manual sorting of glass. So, size wise these unit operations are working. The first is more than 300 mm size, and this could be possible manual picking of large material. Then 80 mm size. So, different size 20 to 60 mm and more than 20 mm. So, different sizes you can see here. So, is a mixed plastic is recovered. So, you can see with the air the light material will get separated, the air separation method. So, here in the from plastic itself there are different fractions are getting separated. Sorted out fraction to quality control. You can see here manually is getting again sorted out the unrequired material. See, in most of the European countries the major fraction in the dry matter are the plastic, different type of plastic. So, their major focus onto the unit operations, how best they can separate the different type of plastics. here sorting of Tetra Paks. This is another ballastic separator, the optical separator. See, in every time we are seeing that manual separation. In the last process is the manual separation again, because machine is not possible to remove the unnecessary materials into that. So, paper sorting. Here manually is getting. Now is final fractions, 16 material fraction for the recycling. So, RDF, this is specially RDF sorting. So, already high quality RDF with low content of PVC, because PVC we can't combust, we can't use as an RDF. Is a finally shredded material is getting transported to the recycling facilities. So, because of that reduction of waste landfill reduced to 60%, because their major concentrations are the dry waste only. So, by that we can understand the mechanical process is somewhat costly. Still India, few cities these kind of units are available, but not all the units are together, but is again based on the objective, like especially if you target plastic. So, this kind of mechanical separation is very beneficial. So, once the now segregation over, now will be required the entire waste will go to the MRF station, material recovery facility. It is also possible at MRF station, material recovery facilities, these unit operations are available in the same area. So, in the next lecture we will talk about design of MRF, material recovery facilities. Also the location wise also one very important issue need to be discussed, and I will just talk about few recycling process, especially plastic, how best we can recycle that, and also what are the different material could possible to get recycled, and what exactly the methodology is adopted for the recycling process, that we will discuss in the next lecture. So, thank you.